Good afternoon, each and everyone present now. Let us start with the universal invocation. O hidden life, vibrant in every atom. O hidden light, shining in every creature. O hidden love, embracing all in oneness. May each who feels himself as one with thee know he is also one with every other. Let us observe silence for a moment. Yes, good evening. Today we are going to start with a new book, that is Letters from the Masters of Wisdom, second series. The book will have a review, and the presenter is Sister Vimal Balchander, a very regular online student of Theosophy. He uh, presents beautifully through PPT all these things. So I welcome her without giving much introduction to her because she is very well known. I request Vimalji to present today's book review for the second book. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Pradeep ji, and welcome everybody to today's session. So, any of you who have read Jina Rajadasa, you surely would have read. You would really recognize that he has one easy style of writing. His words are simple. He writes from the heart. It's not very technical, and it's full of very interesting tidbits. Even if you read the first principles of theosophy, you will find that it'll be very graphic and there'll be a lot of explanatory ideas in it, his own explanatory ideas. So this same style where he adds his own explanations to the letters that we are going to discuss is also part of this book. Now, this book is a compilation of 82 letters from various individuals, not just the main ones I will be naming, like Olcott and a few others, but there are also just a single letter from somebody. What has happened is that in 1925, Chinaraja Dasa decided that there were a lot of letters which the masters had written to various people, not in the form of series, which has never been printed. So he collected all those and then made these Masters of the Wisdom books. So we have the first series and the second series. Now, the second series will have some very interesting things. So I will go through that. Beginning with the forward. Annie Besant's forward itself is also so interesting because it says that it will give you a sense of the reality of our teachers, which is sometimes blurred in the minds of people because of all that happens in the world. And as we know very well that the Mahatma letters were mainly to Sinnett and Hume, and mostly through the agency of HPP. But most of these letters are not with the help of HPP at all. HPP was nowhere in the picture when these letters were received by various people. So, this is another proof that those allegations people made that she had forged the letters and all that was totally false. And in a way, C. Jinaraja's aim is also to state this in this compilation, that please realize that HPB is not there anywhere in the picture. So in many introductions or forwards or notes, he will have written that HPB was miles away when this letter was received. So like that, he will corroborate that part. So that is one another reason for publishing this book. Now, as I said, the period between 1879 and 1890 was a very hectic period for Theosophical Society. At that time, the masters were writing letters to so many people, trying to get more, like a literally a movement, a warlike movement in every part of the world, not just in India, but in America, in Europe, in Germany, in so many, England, even Australia. They were writing letters to so many people. And when we go through some of these letters, we also get lots of interesting tidbits of things. Like a lot of criticism of Alcott is there in many letters. So there is so much criticism that C. Jinaraja Dasa will start that entire section. There is a section of Alcott letters, and Jinaraja Dasa will say, I know there's lots of letters are going to come full of criticism. So I will start with one letter which is not in order, which is actually in praise of Alcott, so that I will temper down all the criticism he is going to get. Alcott is going to receive from the masters. Similarly, there is one letter which I found really, what a thing to write about. This is a letter which the master has written to some unknown chela who is actually tempted by some woman. So he is tempted by adultery. So the master has written to this chela that, look, you must not keep even any memory, any remembrance, even a lock of hair or nothing with you of that person, because even that will be like a spark of attraction. If necessary, you should leave the city where you are. You should be very guarded of your thoughts, because if I even sense the smallest adulterous thought, I will remove you. You will no longer be my chela. So this was a letter on adultery. That is the topic of that letter, and neither the recipient is not known. So these kinds of interesting letters are there. Also, the style of this whole book is short letters, and they are not letters which are teaching theosophy. Most of them are of the type of giving wisdom, practical knowledge, also teaching what is the main aim of the Theosophical Society, that is discipleship also. So that is one thing that we will look at, that how these letters show us that aim of Theosophical Society. So as I said earlier, there are 82 letters. There are also 3 appendices. Now, what is that? They are actually story narrations of personal encounters with the masters by 3 people. Okay, one of them is Damodar, the other is Mohini Chatterjee, and the one is Rama, the third is Rama Swami Iyer. So these 3 people had their own story, which they have narrated in the form of the appendices. And I think we have read them before, especially the Ramaswamy Iyer's, which is very interesting how he just left everything and decided, do or die, I have to go meet the master. And he literally almost dies, but he meets, and of course when he comes back and he tells everybody, people tell him that you were half dead, so cold in that mountains, that you're just deluded yourself to thinking that you've met the master, but it was not the case. He had really met the master. So like I said earlier, there are letters written to all these people: Ramaswamy Iyer, Mohini Chatterjee, Keshav Pillai, Olcott, uh, the Dr. Hugh Schladen, who's a German, Mary Gabbard, Fern, T. Subbarao, etc. Now, they are not just from KHNM, they are also from the Masters of the Brotherhood of Luxor, Master Serapis Bey and Tutit Bey to Olcott. Now, actually, in the beginning, because we are more familiar with our Mahatma letters from KHNM, we don't realize that these 2 other masters were also very keen for the starting of the society. So this is one thing which will come out here. Just after this will come out what they did and what they started before the Theosophical Society. I would just like to talk about a short snippet which is written by KH about the dangers of discipleship. He says that you must lay the foundation of strict conduct in the individual as well as the collective body, whichever wakeful guards against conscious as well as unconscious deception. So, this last line is very important to think about, that what kind of unconscious deception, that is, what kind of half truths, falsehoods we live with. What are the kinds of things we live with? Because are we really truly treating everybody as equal, or is there some compromise that we are dealing with? So this is in the context of Damodar, who had gone to Tibet, and he was now acutely suffering both physically and mentally, and that was only because of these very subtle mistakes that he had made, according to KH, due to his over enthusiasm, which were incorrect, and created that kind of karma, which was due to this thing called unconscious self deception that he did. So these are interesting. Like this, there are many things that we each of us can get out of these letters. So, like I said earlier, about Serapis Bey and Tutored Bay, the masters from the Brotherhood of Luxor, they encouraged HPB and Olcott to start they called it not society, a miracle club on 27th of May, 1875. Okay, that is about 6 months before the TS was started. And they also had the same aim, that is to explore the fraud of spiritualism, and it was going to be under the direction of Master Tuted Bay. But it was soon discontinued. And in the letter that Serapis Bey has written to Olcott, he writes the word trial many times. In many letters, he will write the word trial. And in one particular letter, he also makes this diagram of a triangle with a line in between and four dots. I have no idea what it means, but there is some symbolic meaning of this. Perhaps when the detailed study will happen, the person who's doing it will go into what this means. Now, this miracle club, which these people started, had a third founder also. His name was Jerry Brown. He was the editor of a magazine called The Spiritualist. That Spiritualist was a self-published, self-funded, that is self-funded by Jerry Brown himself, who was researching all the spiritual stories that was happening in America at that time. He was using his own monies, and it was he was trying to publish. Even HPB had written articles for that Spiritualist, and it was completely collapsing, that there was no money. This man was in debt. So HPB and Olcott together kept on giving him money to the tune of that time $1,000 they have given him. Okay. Even then, I mean, what happened later on is he thought that these people will support him for more and more research into spiritualism. Jerry Brown thought that, but HPB and Alcott wanted to squash this whole spiritualism business altogether and say this all this is crap. Don't indulge in mediumship. None of that is reliable. That is what they were saying. And once they started saying those things, Jerry Brown went against them. So, in spite of these people say giving him so much help and so much assistance and bailing him out of his debt, he went against them, and that was the end of the Miracle Club also. Now, such things have happened, are mentioned in these letters, which are the aspects which are the letters written by Serapis Bey to Olcott. Now, another thing that Serapis Bey writes about is the dweller on the threshold. This is very interesting that the masters, even in the Mahatma letters, talk about the dweller of the threshold. And if I actually made an attempt to read Zanoni, the book in which this word dweller of the threshold is mentioned by Bulwer Lytton, it's very, very interesting because this Zanoni is a character almost like the masters, and he has a superior called Majur. He is Majnoor or something. I forgot his name. he uh, he is also like the master. So these people were also dealing with their own personal desires and desirous nature, which was the dweller on the threshold. So here again, Serapis Bay talks about the dweller on the threshold of this time. uh, HPB's second husband, that Bettinelli, who had initially said to her that he will have a platonic marriage, but then later on went against his own ideas and said, no, now I want a real marriage. And she had to ultimately get divorced from him somehow, with the help of William Corn Judge. So that man, Bettinelli's dweller on the threshold, had awakened. And obviously, initially, he was full of spiritualist ideas, spiritual ideas, high spirituality. He was in admiration of the HPP, but then that all that changed. So that was the effect of the dweller. Also, therapist B talks about HVB's dweller also in this in his letters. So such interesting things are there. Then therapist B mentions that he is an Ellorian. And this is another very interesting thing, that we actually all are in these all these sites of Ellora and Ajanta, and all of these sites have all become tourist destinations, and we think they are some artistic sculptural creations, but actually they are not. They were places of meditation and prayer for those great sages who were using these places. So Ellora or Ellorian caves were used by Serapis Bay and also HPB in some previous birth, not in the immediate previous birth. As far as I know, the immediate previous birth of HPB was Cagliostro, okay, an Italian, I think he was. But this is much more much before that. So she's also been said as her higher self is an Ellorian. It is written in these letters. So now Serapis Bey is writing these letters to Alcott, and he is trying to tell Alcott that HPB has a very beautiful inner self. It's like a pearl, but the outer nature is coarse, is hard to deal with, and he is constantly trying to encourage him to teach him to teach her to be practical, while he learns, that is Alcott learns spirituality from HPV. So he is trying to support the difficulty which Alcott is having in dealing with HPV. So that's another thing that this it comes out in this, that how the masters are supporting even that small detail of two people's relationship in who are the founders, the difficulties they have in that also they are involved, and how they are trying to help. Now we think that like I said earlier, the KH and M were the only ones who are behind the TS. But in these letters, it comes that Serapis Bay mentions that 31 subscribers have been lost due to the behavior of one lady called Rosa Bates. So he's mentioned that. So that much they were involved, that they knew who were leaving the society because of somebody's behavior. Also, Serapis Bay gives some beautiful philosophy, like he says, we fear but whom we hate or love. That is, we fear only those whom we either hate or we love. It's very beautiful, this line. Also, we avoid but those who repulse us or attract us too much. We avoid either those who we don't like, or those who we are too attracted to. We avoid both these type of people. But we never bother to avoid anybody whom we are indifferent to. Then he says, the greatest of all living crimes is suicide. I've never heard this kind of very blunt statements like this, very nice. It's lovely to read it. Then there's further discussion on Olcott and HPV, and this time the thing that is that this part is actually, like I said earlier, that Vinarathasasa gives a sort of introductory forward to many of these letters. Almost all these letters, that is, each bunch of them, he gives a forward. That forward is very interesting to read. And in that forward, he will do a little bit of an analysis of what is this whole letter is all about. So in that analysis, Jinaraja Dasa says that HSO has one drawback. He cannot break himself from a long established habit of judging from externals. So he would often judge HPB very harshly. And he himself was one peculiar person. He liked to behave like a child. So he will call the Master M daddy or dad. And he'll call himself Junior Maurya. He'll do things like that, which is all funny. But it may also seem irreverent, but it's a very innocent sort of play. They're both attitude, whereas HPB was for her the masters were not anything less than God. So there was a little difference between their attitude towards the HPB and Alcott's attitude towards the masters. Also, HPB was, as you know, only into theosophy, literature, writing, whereas Alcott was the brilliant administrator who set up the whole society's network and everything. But one thing is there that his core understanding of what the TS was brotherhood and religious tolerance, whereas for HPB it was occult studies and chelarship also. So, especially after the Coulomb incident, this difference between HPB and Olcott, the difference of their understanding of what the TS should be doing, became more prominent, and there was a little bit of a gap or separation between both of them. HBB and Olcott. At that time, KH has written one letter, which I think we have read in the Master's Mahatma letters, in which he says that the society has become soulless without the aspect of discipleship. So it is a very important aspect of the society, this whole aspect of chelarship and aspiration for discipleship. What Jinaraja Dasa here says in his commentary is that of the 17 people who started the society, who founded the society along with HSO and HPB, only HPB was only these two were really left in the end behind, because even Judge uh, finally broke off from the main body and created his own American section, and even went on to say that is the real society and other societies are not the real one. So the only people who really stayed true to the first thing the initiative started was just the two HSO and HPB. Finally, of course, HPB has also started the ES in 1888, and even though Alcott was not too happy with it. Master M's letters to Olcott are full of reprimands and admonitions, because the masters can never tolerate any bad behavior towards HPV. They understand every detail of what she's suffering, and she made an enormous self-sacrifice and her entire aim was only to ensure to work for the goal of the masters. So whenever there were even negative thoughts in Olcott's mind, they would read, and the masters would read, and they would try to correct him. There would letters would drop or something would happen, which would show to him that please stop thinking such negative thinking. So here I'm just going to sort of go into a few of the letters, because this being a compilation, it is not possible for me to do sort of to overall one rough study like that. It's better to go to a few letters and see what is going on. So the letter to Ramaswamy Iyer. Now, who was Ramaswamy Iyer? He was a district registrar, and he was a very sincere theosophist. He lectured everywhere. He actually started lodges, several lodges. He says in one of the letters, Master M says that Chela is expected to take his own initiative in the task of world improvement and not wait for orders. This is a mistake which they point out, that people are just waiting for someone to tell them what to do about spreading theosophy or what is their role in the theosophical society. No, each person has to come up with their own ideas of what they should do for the society and for theosophy. Now, like I mentioned earlier, this Ramaswamy decided, do or die, I will go to Tibet, somehow meet the masters, and he does do that. So that will come in the appendix, that story, very interesting. Eventually, he dies very early in just 1893, and immediately after that, his son publishes all the letters that was received by his father. and in a tone of attacking the TS. So you see, this man had opposition in his own family, yet he did followed the, any time the masters would say, drop everything, go somewhere, he will go. That was his dedication. But these are the hurdles people have to face in their lives. Then the next bunch of letters are letters to Mohini Chatterjee. Mohini Chatterjee was a very interesting, brilliant person. He was taken to Europe with HPV and HSO, and he impressed everybody there. But he, actually quit the society in 1886 because he had some differences with HPV, mainly because a lot of these female following became a little too strong. He was good looking, and somehow there were problems there, and was also a failed jailer. So it's not that. I mean, these things, this whole book will make you realize that there is this business of jailership is a very nuanced thing. You have to the whole thing is not about how much knowledge you have or how well you speak or what all you have achieved. It's never like that. Every single day, hour by hour, you have to be purify yourself. Every act, nothing you can say. There's no compromise. Okay, I did X 5% wrong. Doesn't matter. 95% I'm all right. There is no such thing that 5% also has to be corrected. That is the feeling you will get when you read the letters that the masters have written. Now, another tailor was Keshava Pillai, and he was an inspector in Nellore in 1882, and he helped to start the branch in Nellore, being he was a secretary there. But he also lost interest in TS. And later on, he gave all the letters that he got from the masters to Alcott a few years before he died. So, this is another thing that you will notice in this book, that so many people first got fully involved and then they just 1 minute, just 1 minute. So people get involved and then they lose interest. What did they get involved so much for? What were they expecting that will happen? And what didn't happen? Why did they lose interest? So that is something that you will notice. Now another thing is another bunch of letters were from to the German theosophists, and here is one interesting line by Master KH. He says, "We refuse no one. Spheres of usefulness can be found everywhere. That is, anybody offers that I want to do something, masters will not refuse them. Say, you everybody can be useful. The first object of the society is philanthropy. The true theosophist is the philanthropist who not for himself but for the world he lives." Actually, this letter to Hugh Sheldon, lot of these sentences I have heard being quoted by many lectures. So this is a very interesting letter to read. Also, another letter by Mary Gibbard. I found this very appealing, in which she says that I want to now work for the Red Cross. She says, and this happens to all of us. Once we are reading, I said, okay, enough. Sometimes we join the TOS, but then when we realize that we have to use our own funds to promote the TOS, how much of our own funds can we give? So that also becomes less. So then we don't know what to do. Some people say, let me learn healing. Okay, I will help the world by healing. So everybody thinks of something. We have to do something positive. So in the same way, Mary Gabbard here has thought about joining the TS. So in that context, what does KH say? Beautiful. He says, you have offered yourself for the Red Cross. But, sister, there are sicknesses and wounds of the soul that no surgeon's art can cure. Shall you help us teach mankind that the soul sick must heal themselves? So, lots to contemplate and think about. What is soul sickness? Very interesting. So, let's hope that all will get clarified in the weeks to come. Then there is this, which I thought all of you should just listen to. There is a letter from the master discussing Madame Coulomb before all that happened. Okay. The master is advising Hartman. Hartman must have written, this lady is, she was a medium and she was a little difficult to handle. So the master is advising Hartman on how to handle this Madame Coulomb. So he says, she has many weaknesses and all I know, but Hartman should try exercising on her mind a moral influence by a friendly and kindly feeling. So even though I'm not sure that the masters did not know the future or what will happen. Probably the future is not that definite. There are probabilities. It could have gone. Maybe the Coulombs could have chosen to do something different. Maybe they knew that these people are trouble, but they were not that sure that the Coulombs will make those choices. But yet, look at the compassion, the chance they are giving. How much chance they are giving to a person to, and also he says that you be kind, you show kindliness and friendliness. When you show friendliness and kindliness, even if that other person has got certain aspects which need to change, that will be effect, that will have some effect. Very interesting, this thing. So finally, I will end with this, that the entire book is an extensive proof of the existence of the masters and the Great White Brotherhood, and of the reality of jailership. So that was actually, seems to me, the main purpose of why the Jina Rajadasa wrote this book, and why he compiled these letters, and why it is important for us to also read it. So thank you so much for patiently listening. There is a little more that I want to share, but I'll do after the Hindi translation. Thank you so much. Sushma ji can start.
नमस्कार, गुड इवनिंग। थैंक यू विमल जी, थैंक यू प्रदीप सर। आज हम लोग लेटर्स फ्रॉम द मास्टर्स ऑफ विजडम सेकेंड सीरीज पुस्तक का प्रारंभ, इसके रिव्यू यानी समीक्षा, इसके मूल्यांकन या मुख्य बंदियों से कर रहे हैं, जिससे इस पुस्तक की विषय वस्तु समझने में सहायता मिलेगी। विमल जी को इस समीक्षा के लिए बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। मैं इसका हिंदी अनुवाद प्रस्तुत कर रही हूँ। इस पुस्तक के प्रारंभ में एनी बेसेंट लिखती हैं प्रस्तावना में कि परीक्षमाण पथ पर चल रहे अनेक तीर्थयात्रियों को इस पुस्तक से बहुत सहायता और प्रेरणा मिलेगी, और यह हमारे गुरुदेवों की वास्तविकता को समझ को गहरा करने में सहायक होगी, जो कभी कभी इस बाहरी दुनिया की उथल पुथल भरी घटनाओं के कारण जो नव शिष्य हैं, न्यूफाइट्स हैं, उनके मन में गुरुदेवों की छवि धुंधली पड़ जाती है। यद्यपि सेनेट एवं ह्यूम को लिखे गए पत्र अधिकांशतः एचपीबी के माध्यम से आए हैं, लेकिन इस श्रृंखला के सभी पत्र एचपीबी के माध्यम के बिना स्वतंत्र रूप से प्राप्त हुए हैं, और इस प्रकार यह पत्रों का संग्रह एचपीबी पर झूठे आरोपण के विरुद्ध उनकी निर्दोषता का प्रमाण है। यह पुस्तक 1925 में प्रकाशित हुई। पत्रों को प्राप्तकर्ताओं के अनुसार वर्गीकृत किया गया है, और प्रत्येक पत्र प्राप्तकर्ता के लिए जनराज दास जी ने एक रोचक प्रस्तावना भी लिखी है। इस पुस्तक में 1879 से 1890 के मध्य कई समर्पित थियोसॉफिस्ट द्वारा किए गए कार्यों का उल्लेख है, जैसे नए लॉज की स्थापना करना, व्याख्यान देना, लेखन कार्य एवं उक्त कार्यों के लिए यात्रा में व्यस्त होने का भी उल्लेख है, जिनमें से कुछ श्रद्धेय गुरुदेवों के साथ पत्र व्यवहार भी करते थे। कुछ पत्रों में ऑलकॉट के मनोवैज्ञानिक दृष्टिकोण की झलक भी मिलती है। फेम को लिखे गए पत्र जैसे कुछ पत्रों को समझने के लिए विस्तृत पृष्ठभूमि की आवश्यकता होती है। कुछ पत्र उन लोगों के लिए भी लिखे गए जो गुरुदेवों के अस्तित्व के संबंध में संदेह व्यक्त करते हैं। एक अज्ञात शिष्य को लिखे गए पत्र में गुरुदेव ने निर्देश दिया है कि स्वयं को व्यभिचार और मन को उत्तेजक और कामुक विचारों से कैसे बचाना चाहिए। अब पुस्तक में संकलित पत्रों की विविधता। इस पुस्तक में 82 पत्र हैं, 3 परिशिष्ट हैं। इसमें पहला फ्रांसीसी भाषा में लिखा गया पत्र है जो 1870 में एचपीबी की मौसी नादेनजा ए फदीब को भेजा गया था, जिसे मास्टर केएच ने लिखा था। इसके अतिरिक्त रामास्वामी अय्यर, मोहिनी मोहन चटर्जी, केशव पिल्लई, कर्नल ऑलकॉट, डॉक्टर हुब्बे श्लेडेन, मेरी गेबर्ट, फ्रेम, टी सुब्बाराव आदि को भी पत्र प्राप्त हुए थे मास्टर्स के। ये पत्र केवल मास्टर केएच और मास्टर एमके ही नहीं थे, बल्कि लक्सर भातृत्व संघ के गुरुदेव जैसे मास्टर सेरेपेस बे और ट्वीटेट बे के पत्र थे जो कर्नल ऑलकॉट को लिखे गए थे। इन पत्रों में शिष्यत्व यानी डिसाइपलशिप के खतरों के बारे में मास्टर केएस द्वारा लिखे गए एक पत्र का अंश यहाँ प्रस्तुत है। वह लिखते हैं कि आपने कर्म के बारे में बहुत कुछ कहा, लेकिन उस सिद्धांत के वास्तविक महत्व को शायद ही समझा है। अब समय आ गया है जब आपको व्यक्तिगत और सामूहिक शरीर में उस सख्त आचरण की नींव रखनी होगी जो सदैव जागृत रहकर चेतन एवं अचेतन धोखों से रक्षा करता है। अचेतन धोखों के विषय में अंतिम पंक्ति कुछ अर्ध सत्य या झूठ का अर्थ रखती है और उसके साथ हम जीते रहते हैं। ऐसी सूक्ष्म गलतियों को ठीक करना महत्वपूर्ण है। उदाहरण स्वरूप, जब दामोदर मावलंकर जो तिब्बत में थे और गुरुदेवों के साथ थे, तो अति उत्साह में उनके द्वारा की गई गलतियों के कारण उन्हें शारीरिक और नैतिक दोनों रूपों से गंभीर पीड़ा सहन करनी पड़ी। अब थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी के स्थापना के पूर्व के काल को देखते हैं। मैडम एचपीबी और कर्नल ऑलकॉट द्वारा 27 मई 1875 को आध्यात्मवाद यानी स्पिरिचुअलिज्म के छल कपट का पता लगाने के लिए एक मिरेकल क्लब की स्थापना की गई। यह कार्य मास्टर ट्वीटेट बे के निर्देशन में किया गया था, यद्यपि इसे शीघ्र ही बंद भी कर दिया गया। सेरेपेस बे के एक पत्र में प्रयत्न यानी ट्राई शब्द का 2 बार उल्लेख किया गया। इसके बाद उसे एक क्षैतिजीय यानी हॉरिजॉन्टल रेखा और 4 बिंदुओं डॉट वाले त्रिभुज की आकृति दी गई। अभी जैसा कि विमल जी ने बताया, इसके विषय में हम सब महात्मा लेटर्स की आगामी कक्षाओं में विस्तार से अध्ययन करेंगे। प्रयत्न ट्राई उल्लेखनीय है कि मिरेकल क्लब के एक तीसरे संस्थापक थे जेरी ब्राउन, जो स्पिरिचुअलिस्ट पत्रिका के प्रकाशक थे, जिसमें भूत प्रेतों, माध्यमवाद यानी मीडियमशिप पर किए गए शोध प्रकाशित होते थे। यह भी उल्लेखनीय है कि जब जेरी ब्राउन पर बहुत सा कर्ज था, तो मैडम एचपीबी और कर्नल ऑलकॉट दोनों ने मिलकर उन्हें $1000 दिए थे। लेकिन जब एचपीबी और कर्नल ऑलकॉट ने अध्यात्मवाद यानी स्पिरिचुअलिज्म और मीडियमशिप आदि के मिथ्या स्वरूप की घोषणा की, तो जेरी ब्राउन पूरी तरह से उनके खिलाफ हो गए। मास्टर सेरापिस बे ने जेरी ब्राउन के बारे में लिखा था कि उन्हें पश्चाताप करना होगा और कष्ट सहना होगा। और फिर वो लिखते हैं कि अगर हेनरी उनकी कठोर आत्मा में पश्चाताप जगाने में सफल हो जाते हैं, यानी जेरी ब्राउन की आत्मा में पश्चाताप जगाने में सफल हो जाते हैं, तो समझो उन्होंने एक आत्मा को बचा लिया। हम सभी के लिए यह सच हो सकता है अगर हम अपनी उक्त असफलताओं के लिए पश्चाताप करने और दूसरों के उनकी असफलताओं के लिए पश्चाताप जगाने में सफल हो जाते हैं, तो हम अपने और दूसरों के जीवन को भविष्य के दुखों से बचा सकते हैं। अब अन्य टॉपिक है दहलीज पर रहने वाला। एक बार फिर हम दहलीज पर रहने वाले शब्द का प्रयोग एचपीबी के द्वितीय विवाह के संदर्भ में करते हैं। ये आया है, यह शब्द फिर पुनः आया है। रूसी नामक एमसी बेटनली ने एचपीबी से पहले एक आदर्शवादी विवाह की शपथ ली थी, लेकिन जल्द ही उनका मन बदल गया। इस प्रकार बेटनली में एक अधिवासी यानी ड्वेलर सक्रिय हो गया। एचपीबी के इस अधिवासी व्यक्तित्व यानी ड्वेलर की चर्चा अन्य पत्रों में भी की गई है। सेरापिस बेबी मास्टर एम एवं केज की तरह एक जीवित एवं जीवंत गुरुदेव थे। वह एलोरा की गुफाओं में रहते थे और एचपीबी का उच्च स एक एलोरियन था। सेरेपिस बेबी हजारों मील दूर होने के बावजूद कर्नल ऑलकॉट के मन को पढ़ सकते थे। वो ऑलकॉट को एचपीबी की मदद करने की सलाह देते थे। वह एचपीबी को यानी सेरेपिस बी एचपीबी को एक खुरदरे खोल के अंदर मोती के रूप में वर्णित करते हैं। वो ऑलकॉट को निर्देश देते हैं कि एचपीबी को व्यवहारिकता कैसे सिखानी चाहिए या सिखाई जाए, और जबकि ऑलकॉट को एचपीबी से आध्यात्मिक सीख लेनी चाहिए तथा उन्हें यह भी सलाह दी जाती है कि वह बुद्धिमान लोगों को एचपीबी से मिलवाएं। गुरुदेवों के पत्रों में एचपीबी के प्रति स्नेह एवं सुरक्षा की भावना परिलक्षित होती है, और छोटी छोटी बातों में भी सही दिशा में सावधानी से दोनों को अग्रसरित होने के लिए प्रेरित किया जाता है। आमतौर पर कई पत्रों में ऑलकॉट को एचपीबी के साथ कैसे पेश आया जाए या कैसे व्यवहार किया जाए उसका वो उल्लेख करते हैं। हम अक्सर थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी की पृष्ठभूमि में केवल मास्टर केएच और मास्टर एम के बारे में ही सोचते हैं और जानते हैं, लेकिन 1879 में मास्टर सेरेपिस बे द्वारा कर्नल ऑलकॉट को लिखे पत्र से अनेक जानकारियां मिलती हैं। वो लिखते हैं कि एक रोजा बेट्स के कारण 31 सदस्य हमने खो दिए। अब मास्टर सेरेपिस की कई सत्य से संबंधित उक्तियां हैं जो बहुत ही मूल्यवान है। वो लिखते हैं कि हम उनसे डरते हैं जिनसे नफरत या प्यार करते हैं, हम उनसे दूर भागते हैं जिनसे घृणा करते हैं, लेकिन हम उनको अवॉइड नहीं करते जिनके प्रति हम उदासीन हैं। दूसरी वो उक्ति कहते हैं कि सबसे बड़े अपराधों में आत्महत्या अपराध है। अब ऑलकॉट एवं एचपीबी के संबंध में एक वक्तव्य है। ऑलकॉट की एक कमी थी, मास्टर लिखते हैं कि ऑलकॉट की एक कमी थी कि वह सुनी हुई बाहरी बातों से अपनी राय कायम कर लेते थे जिसे वह छोड़ नहीं पाए। इसलिए वह अक्सर एचपीबी के व्यवहार के लिए उनकी सख्त आलोचना करते थे। वह अपने गुरुदेव को पिता भी कहते थे और उनसे गहरा प्रेम करते थे, किंतु कर्नल ऑलकॉट चंचल प्रकृति के थे, जबकि एचपीबी के लिए गुरुदेव सर्वशक्तिमान से कम नहीं थे। अतः गुरुदेवों के प्रति दोनों के दृष्टिकोणों में अत्यधिक भिन्नता थी। जिनराज दास जी लिखते हैं कि ऑलकॉट एक कुशल प्रशासक थे। उन्होंने सोसाइटी के संसाधन व अन्य लोगों से संबंध स्थापित करने में बहुत मदद की, लेकिन टीएस के लिए उनकी मूल अवधारणा बंधुत्व एवं धार्मिक सहिष्णुता थी, जबकि एचपीबी का मानना था कि शिष्य या चेलों की भर्ती के लिए भी उसकी उपयोगिता है, यानी थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी की उपयोगिता है। कूलम्ब की घटना के पश्चात ऑलकॉट ने अपनी अलग राह बनाई, किंतु गुरुदेव ने यह कह के उन्हें वापस बुलाया कि शिष्यत्व के पहलू के बिना थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी आत्मा विहीन है, यानी सोललेस हो गई है। जिनराज दास जी के अनुसार इसकी स्थापना करने वाले 17 लोगों में से केवल ऑलकॉट एवं एचपीबी इसके वास्तविक संस्थापक थे, क्योंकि WQ जज जिन्होंने अमेरिकी लॉज को अलग कर लिया और उसे ही मूल संस्था कहा था, और उन्होंने भी उक्त लक्ष्य को स्वीकार नहीं किया और उसे दोषपूर्ण कहा। अंततः एचपीबी ने 1888 में ईएस यानी सॉट्रिक स्कूल की स्थापना की थी, जो अनवरत इसी उद्देश्य के साथ सक्रिय है, किंतु ऑलकॉट उनके इस कार्य से प्रसन्न नहीं थे। अब ऑलकॉट को लिखा गया पत्र मास्टर द्वारा। मास्टर एम द्वारा ऑलकॉट के लिखे पत्र में अक्सर चेतावनी और डांट होती थी, किंतु गुरुदेव एचपीबी के साथ किसी भी प्रकार का दुर्व्यवहार बर्दाश्त नहीं करते थे, क्योंकि वह एचपीबी द्वारा किए गए अपार आत्म बलिदान की प्रकृति को जानते थे। गुरुदेव ऑलकॉट के विचारों पर नजर रखते थे, और जब भी उनमें एचपीबी के प्रति नकारात्मक विचार देखते थे तो उन्हें आगाह करके उन्हें बताते भी थे। एक अन्य पत्र जो गुरुदेव ने रामास्वामी अय्यर को लिखा है, रामास्वामी एक जिसमें इसका उल्लेख श्री जिनराज दास जी करते हैं कि रामास्वामी एक जिला रजिस्ट्रार एवं एक ईमानदार थियोसॉफिस्ट थे, जिन्होंने कई लॉज स्थापित किए एवं वो व्याख्यान के कार्य में संलग्न थे। वह मास्टर एम के शिष्य थे। एक शिष्य से यह अपेक्षा की जाती है कि वे विश्व सुधार के लिए के कार्यों में स्वयं पहल करें और आदेशों की प्रतीक्षा न करें। ऐसा गुरुदेव ने एक पत्र में वर्णित किया है। उल्लेखनीय है कि रामेस्वामी अक्सर चिकित्सा पद्धति यानी हीलिंग सीखने या गुप्त शक्तियों का ज्ञान प्राप्त करने के लिए तिब्बत आने का आग्रह करते थे। कभी तो उनकी मदद की जाती थी और कभी उन्हें मना कर दिया जाता था। 1893 में उनकी मृत्यु हो गई और उसके तुरंत बाद उनके पुत्र ने अपने पिता द्वारा थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी पर आक्रामक भावना वाले पत्रों को प्रकाशित कर दिया। इससे हमें ज्ञात होता है कि एक चेले के जीवन में कितनी बाधाएं आती हैं और रामास्वामी अय्यर का अपने गुरुओं के प्रति अपनी भक्ति के लिए कितने विरोध का सामना उनको करना पड़ा होगा। मोहनी मोहन चैटर्जी को लिखा पत्र। जिन राजदास जी ने इन पत्रों के क्रम में लिखा है कि मोहनी एक प्रखर वक्ता थे। जब उन्होंने एचपीबी के साथ यूरोप की यात्रा की तो अपने ज्ञान और बुद्धिमत्ता से सबको प्रभावित किया। दुर्भाग्य से उन्होंने महिलाओं का ध्यान आकर्षित किया जो उनके पतन का कारण बना और एचपीबी के साथ उनके मतभेद भी हो गए। 1886 में उन्होंने सोसाइटी छोड़ दी। कहा जाता है कि वो एक असफल चेला थे। केशव पिल्लई को लिखा पत्र। केशव पिल्लई नेल्लोर के एक पुलिस इंस्पेक्टर थे। 1882 में नेल्लोर में थियोसॉफिकल सोसाइटी की एक ब्रांच शुरू हुई थी जिसके वो सचिव थे। कालांतर में टीएस में उनकी रुचि समाप्त हो गई, लेकिन अपनी मृत्यु से पूर्व उन्होंने गुरुदेव से जो भी पत्र प्राप्त किए थे वो कर्नल ऑलकॉट को सौंप दिए। जर्मन थियोसॉफिस्ट को लिखा एक पत्र। एक प्रमुख जर्मन थियोसॉफिस्ट डॉक्टर हुब्बे श्लेडन को मास्टर केयर से एक अत्यंत महत्वपूर्ण पत्र प्राप्त हुआ जिसमें शिष्य के जीवन की कठिनाइयों को व्यक्त किया गया है। साथ ही कुछ महत्वपूर्ण वक्तव्यों का भी उल्लेख है, जैसे विदिन कॉमा, हम किसी को अस्वीकार नहीं करते, उपयोगिता के क्षेत्र सर्वत्र पाए जा सकते हैं, सोसाइटी का पहला उद्देश्य परोपकारिता है, सच्चा थियोसॉफिस्ट वह परोपकारी है जो अपने लिए नहीं बल्कि उस दुनिया के लिए है जिसमें वह रहता है। मेरी गैबर्ड को लिखे पत्र में भी कुछ एक सुंदर शिक्षा है। वो लिखते हैं विदिन इन्वर्टेड कॉमा, ये मास गुरुदेवों के का ही वक्तव्य है, आपने स्वयं को रेड क्रॉस के लिए समर्पित कर दिया, लेकिन सिस्टर आत्मा के कुछ रोग और घाव ऐसे हैं जिन्हें किसी भी शल्य चिकित्सक की कला ठीक नहीं कर सकती। क्या आप मानव जाति को यह सिखाने में मदद करेंगी? आत्मरोग को स्वयं ही ठीक करना होगा, ठीक करना चाहिए। फ्रेंजा हर्टमन को लिखा पत्र। एक अन्य उल्लेखनीय पत्र है जिसमें गुरुदेव महोदय मैडम कुलम्ब की चर्चा करते हैं, जिनके बारे में हम सभी जानते हैं। गुरुदेव हर्टमैन को सलाह देते हैं कि वह जानते हैं कि मैडम कुलम्ब एक माध्यम है और उनकी कई कमजोरियां हैं, लेकिन हर्टमैन को एक कोशिश करनी चाहिए और उनके यानी कुलम्ब के मन पर एक मैत्रीपूर्ण और दयालुता की भावना से एक नैतिक प्रभाव डालना चाहिए। हम उपरोक्त वर्णन से समझ सकते हैं कि गुरुदेवों को करुणा के गुरु क्यों कहा जाता है। इस पुस्तक के अंतिम भाग में 3 परिशिष्ट हैं जो रामास्वामी अय्यर, मोहिनी मोहन चटर्जी, दामोदर मावलंकर के गुरुदेवों के साथ उनके व्यक्तिगत विवरण और अनुभव हैं। यह पूरी पुस्तक महान श्वेत संघ के बंधु गुरुदेवों और शिष्यत्व के अस्तित्व का एक व्यापक प्रमाण है। धन्यवाद।
So we can open up for any discussions or additions.
Madam, I am very
Something after the translation,
One
I
minute.
think.
Yes, go ahead, go ahead. Sheetalji, go ahead first.
Yes, you were telling something extra after the this translation, I think.
Yeah, I will tell that. Before that, let us see whether any other thing people want to add. Yes, who spoke in between? Someone else also spoke.
Yeah, it is me. Just I want to add one thing that yes, Ramaswamy Iyer, a district registrar of Tirunelveli, he visited Ballari of Karnataka and he has started a lodge on 17/12/1882. Just I want to inform you.
Oh, okay. Bellary Lodge was also started by Ramaswamy Iyer.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. All right. All right. Very interesting. Ramaswamy Iyer was, see, they were the succeeded chelas. The successful chelas were Damodar, Ramaswamy Iyer. There were very few of those. Most of them have failed. So, yes, Jitendra ji, you would like to add, please go ahead.
Yes, there are a lot of things to add. Currently, I've been reading the same book last 2 months, Damodar, these master's letters to the members, series 2, the same book I've been reading. So I would say that for last 135 years or so, we are having Theosophical Society headquarters in Chennai. Is like a dead body. It's a the word they used is a soulless corpse. And I agree with Master Kutumi. He wrote a letter to that since last 6 years of HBB, she left. She was in London. She left Theosophical Society. You can say she resigned virtually from Theosophical Society and said, let H.S. Alcott run the Theosophical Society, but which is without the soul. It's a body only. And we should be very serious, all our Theosophical members. Like this, yesterday there was a Gita, talk on Gita. And the Viva Saxena, she's giving a talk on Gita, also on a Philippines channel. I don't know if you are attending, any one of you. So
No,
in
sir.
both
I know
cases,
about it.
in both cases, as well as, I don't know, out of this 1.4 billion Indians in India, how many people believe that the war never took place? In Kurukshetra means our body. Kurukshetra was not a field that where the war took place. We are having this understanding, analogy is given, and we believe that, oh, it happened. Uh, Krishna was riding the chariot for Arjun, and Arjun was asking these questions, and Krishna was answering that. It's totally misunderstanding of all the people. I don't know how many people are like me. I've been reading Gita for last 45, 50 years, and I never took it as a gospel truth that this war took place. The war between the vices and virtues is a Gita. Your virtues, and you should defend the vices. Any vices that people have, you should fight for it. Be a warrior. This is how it should be read, with common sense. How can some mother can have 100 children and all the children's names starting with du? Durupyog, du means opposite, is a part of vices only. This is why I say 135 years. A lot of people are still holding on to the God. And God, Ram is God, or Krishna is God to them, or Shiva is God, or the Brahma is God. There is no God like that. So,
Yes,
this is why I came to India, just to say this sort of thing. And I was saying, you keep your opinion to yourself and forget it. And this is we are going to suffer. We are celebrating 150 years in December, I tell you, I'm going to come. I might not come, but if something happens with our within the family, so I've to ask my family members to join me, and if they don't join me, I might not come. But I've registered myself already that I'll come.
Thank you.
Like even the, look at the master's letters to Epicenet, right? How many of you listening have stopped eating chocolate? How many of you have stopped eating chocolate? In the master's Kutumi has said,
Okay. Yeah, I know. They create worms in the stomach. So you're right. We don't listen to. We take whatever is convenient for us. We don't take all the things. So that's true.
no, whatever I'm saying, whatever Master Kutumi has said, every word is true. It's not a belief system. Because
Right.
there's nothing wrong when you can prove KH wrong. Can you find anything that he has said to everybody who has written letters to
Sir,
him?
but one
Can
thing,
we find
sir,
one incident
no,
that he has said no mistake?
but
Like
sir,
in
one thing.
the
There is a lot
yeah.
of also warning against being too dogmatic. There's also a lot of warning against not giving freedom to the other person to choose. In fact, in these letters itself, it's mentioned that you don't know what, in fact, the last letter, which is what I wanted to discuss,
Hmm.
which is not,
Yes.
which I subsequently added to my talk, but I had not been able to give it to the Hindi translation. So I had decided not to present that. I will just discuss a little bit about that. So that last letter is to somebody who was, doing the same kind of staunch thing. What I'm saying is right and others are wrong. Now, that letter really tells you that that please don't take up anything, because your role is much more, your aim in life should be more to do with your self correction rather than to correct others. So I just wanted to say, for example, in this last letter, which is written by an unknown master to an unknown recipient. And this Jinaraja Dasa ends the book with this last letter. And he says that ever turn away your gaze from the imperfections of your neighbor and center rather your attention upon your own shortcomings in order to correct them and become wiser. So I think there is a very clear indication that our aim is not to go around talking what are the wrongs in the society and going trying to correct them, but we have to we have to stand up for what is right. Like, for example, how Damodar stood up speaking up against casteism. You threw off the entire thing. That is something that type of standing up for what is wrong is definitely needed, but it is not necessary for us to go and fight against other people's beliefs. That is something that even these books are talking about. So I just like to add one small snippet. What I will do is I will try to share this thing again. 1 minute, so that you can read it while I'm sharing it. So it says this last letter. It says that if you would be a theosophist, you must not do as those around you do, who call on a God of truth and love and serve the dark powers of might, greed, and luck. Just let's think about this. I'll read it again. If you would be a theosophist, you must not do as those around you do, who call on a God of truth and love and serve the dark powers of might, greed, and luck. So, like, in this, I thought that how much am I center my thinking around truth and love? Every
Why not God? Why don't you include God?
the God of truth and love. Truth and love are God. As
No,
for a theosophist.
no. What they mean is that the anthropomorphic God concept should go away.
No, sir, that is exactly what they're saying. That don't fight in that way. That's what. Anyway, so that's your way of. Let's stick to these things.
Yeah.
This book. Then the other
Yeah.
aspect is that he says theosophy must be made practical. That is just another small bit of interesting wisdom in this, that we have to make theosophy as practical, as useful as possible. So I think that's it. We will end today's talk. I don't know where Pradeep ji is.
Vimal, 1 minute. Can I just say about this last 10 years from 1890 to 1900? There was not a single letter written by masters to anybody. Just the first letter after 10 years was written to Annie Besant in 1900, 1900. There was no other
Yes,
letters.
sir, you're right. But
So
not
the
sure
last
whether
letter that you are
William Conn
reading,
Judge. No, sir. There may have been letters written to William Conn Judge, which we don't know that.
yeah, and also Alcott was against esoteric school of theosophy, and up to 1890, Master Kutumi and Master Moria were coming to on the balcony. Now, from 1900, never came. I mean, up to from 1891, they never came. So we are still calling our Theosophical Society the home of the masters. They said they are laughing at us.
No,
Because
sir,
they are
no.
not coming now. It was a
Sir,
home
please.
of the masters
No,
when
sir.
HBB and Alcott were receiving them, meeting them.
Vimalji will close. Time
Yes.
is okay,
Yes.
sir.
Thank you, everybody, for joining. And thank you, Sushmadi, for a wonderful translation. And I hope you found the talk useful. So let's all join together. The closing prayer. Asatoma Satgame, Tamasoma Jyotirgame, Mrityorma Amritam Game. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Thank you, everybody.